Hello, Masterminders. Patrick Mosier here. Brendon asked us to put together a video of our learnings and our breakthroughs from Cabo. So I put together a slideshow that you can watch behind me as I go through mine. And I just want to go through a few of the things that were huge for me in Cabo. And I want to share those with you. Listen to yours as well to see what you heard and what you learned. The first thing I want to go over is, boy, the Brendon quotes. I mean, they're just awesome. And the three that I took away that were really mind-bending for me, the first one is, I'm so unsure of what works, I'm prolific. And that was awesome because that gives me, freedom. It gives me some, autonomy to just go out and try stuff and put it out there. And since Cabo, I've really tried to work harder on getting more out there in terms of Facebook Lives and stuff like that. So just getting out there more is finding out what works. So I like that as my number one. Number two, step into the confidence you earned. And I love that because each of us in this mastermind, well, we've earned our way to be here. So we must have confidence somewhere in our life. So step into that confidence that you earned. And so I love that too. It just gives me courage and it gives me that oomph to go and do stuff. And the third one I liked, which we talked about, and I think Brendon mentioned on our last coaching call, was it's hard to formulate a question when you don't see a path to the answer. And I think that's really good because we were talking around the fire and he goes, sometimes when I just say, hey, send in your questions and you don't get so much. And as a coach and as a facilitator, asking the question, what questions do you have? It's great if you know what questions you should have. But if you don't know what you don't know, you don't ask the questions you don't know to ask. So I like what I really love that. And so part of that is to reformulate how you put it out there. It's like, tell me where you are. What's going on for you? Show me what you're working on. Those things are just like, go through that. And then you look for those emotional blips along the way to sort of go, oh, I see where you're getting hung up on things. So that's the first thing. The second thing he asked us to do is, what'd you think of the group? And I loved this group. It was awesome to be in Cabo in this great setting. There's Mel right there. But also it was just great to be there with a great group of people. So I love the setting. I love the people. The questions people asked were just awesome. And I took a gazillion notes and wrote them up and typed them up afterwards. So I got all those written up notes and all my action items. But it was great conversation with folks, both inside the mastermind event and also outside on the beach and in the hallways and stuff like that. It was just great just to interact with people. So those are things that I found that were really good. And the third thing that I always look for in these kind of events are, who are the 5 people that I'm going to write down in my book and just say, these are the 5 people I'm going to stay connected to inside, outside of Brendon's mastermind, but these are the connections I want to make for a long time. And I wrote those 5 names down, so thank you for that as well. So then, the second part of this, what are my breakthroughs? 2 major breakthroughs. One, I was talking to Brendon around the fire, and I said, man, I got all these great ideas. I'm passionate about all of them. I want to do all this stuff. And he goes, Patrick, rule of 3s, pick 3. I was like, whoo. Okay, so I picked 3. My Wisdom Exchange monthly, my Machu Picchu Wisdom Council, and the third one is my Titanic Diagnostic. And he's like, whoo, what's the Titanic Diagnostic? And I was like, well, as a consultant, I was on over 80 projects, and a lot of those didn't go as well as you'd want them to. And so what are the indicators of a project or an organization or an initiative that's kind of going down like that Titanic? What are the early warning signs that you can look at and say, hey, this isn't going to go the way you think it is? And so I put that together, and I'm going to put that out as an offering. So those are my rule of 3s. The second one that he went through, which I thought was just huge, was emotional processing. How to process things. And again, I was talking to Brendon, and I said, Brendon, I'm so frustrated with myself because I implemented SAP at large organizations faster than I put on my own website, which is, just like feeling really bad about that for myself. And he said, hey, Patrick, you spent 28 years at, in consulting. You needed decompression time. And so he talked a lot about decompression time. And so that was really healthy to hear that as well. Say, you got to give yourself decompression time, both after big things happen, but also in the process of things too. I love that. And then he went through what I'm calling, the FDSF, the fatigue, doubt, stress, failure indicators. And you mentioned this in the coaching last week. And, part of that is like start looking at some of the indicators of that. And, I've already started doing that on my daily schedule. And wow, I was surprised that, some of my reactions, I do consume things. I go into Facebook, I look up things, I do easy things like taking care of emails, processing emails that I don't need to look at all. So, I love that. And then the last one in emotional processing was, don't blame yourself, blame the factors. So instead of saying, oh, I'm a failure, I can't get this done, I didn't get my website up, he's like, blame the factors. What are the factors that led to that? Are you hydrating well? Did you get enough sleep? Or did you take decompression time? Did you recover from each of the events? Those kinds of things, I thought that was huge for me. So those are my big breakthroughs. My big learnings, first of all, the 48-hour sequence I thought was huge. It was awesome to sit there and write my email for what my 48-hour sequence would be for my big offering. And I want to run it by you just because I'm so excited about it. So the subject line would read, Machu Picchu Wisdom Council, 9 slots left. That's the subject. And then inside it would say, are you creating something that radically changes everything? First sentence. Second sentence, one journey, one wisdom can change it all. And then the third one was reply, that's me. So that's my 48-hour sequence, the email number 1. If you got thoughts, if that sounds interesting, let me know, because I'd love to know if I should change the copy. I already got some comments on that, which is great. Then the second big learning was including mystery in the copy. And Brendon talked about, like, sometimes you take the mystery out and you got to leave some of that mystery in so people are curious about what's next. And so I wanted to make sure that I include the mystery in my copy. He told us to focus on a $100,000 offering in the next 90 days. And that just kicked in this Machu Picchu Wisdom Council for me, like, big time. Before it was like, well, it's an idea, I'm thinking about it, maybe this year, maybe next year. He's like, no, you got to do it. So I was like, I'm doing it. So that's huge for me. And then the other thing he talked about is getting evergreen products up and running in 2018 for what's going to hit in 2019. So I'm excited about that too. So my commitments, I want to go through my commitments for this year, for the next 30, 60, 90 days. The first one's in February. I've got an email list of 20, and I want to get it up to 150 by the end of February. So if you got ideas to help me with that, definitely interested in that. I'm going to start kicking that up. Secondly, I want to launch my Wisdom Exchange monthly, which I'm going to do this week. And I'm going to ask some of you guys to get involved in that, just to give me feedback on how that works. Many of you have monthlies up and running. Third, I want to build my level 1 Titanic diagnostic. That's just going to be so awesome. And I'm going to share it with Brendon. Hopefully he'll take a look at it. And then finally, I want to get at least 5 people kind of mildly or hotly interested in the Machu Picchu Wisdom Council. Okay, then for March 31st, 220 on the email list, serving my Wisdom Exchange monthly group, release that level 1 Titanic diagnostic, and then get 5 more people interested in Machu Picchu. April, big month. April, get up to 275 in the email list. Serve that Wisdom Exchange community really well. Grow that level 1 Titanic diagnostic, put it out there and start getting people to buy into it, moving into a level 2 diagnostic. And then finally, visiting Machu Picchu. So Carrie and I are going to go visit Machu Picchu sometime in April, just to scout it out. I got an okay from my pulmonologist yesterday to say the altitude should be fine for me. Actually, she said I'm healthy as a horse, which is awesome to hear. And so I want to make sure I go to Machu Picchu, scout out the area and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So my 3 big asks for you, number 1, as my mastermind buddies, number 1, give me feedback on my 30, 60, 90-day plan. Is it too wimpy? Is it too aggressive? Is it something that you can help me with? Love to hear from you. Secondly, I'm going to put out an offer to the mastermind community to sign up for my Wisdom Exchange monthly. And again, it's pretty much just to get you in the game, to look at my stuff to see, is this monthly the way it could or should be done, or how could I do it better? And then thirdly, I'm going to start up this group called my Wisdom Exchange Customer Experience Innovation Team. Big, long word, but what I love is the acronym is We See It, meaning it's those people who I want to get behind the scenes with my world and take a look at my offerings and my products, and then help me build those, because as Brendon says, people own what they help build, and I really want to get some ownership in this thing too, so I can really build something that really meets the marketplace well. So that's my ask of you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll hope to see you either this month at CHPC, next month at HPA, or in Phoenix in May at our next Mastermind event. So until then, 3 things: live your life 100% empowered, learn deeply, and put your talent in the world where it shines boldly. Until then, see you next time. And the next picture I think that's going to pop up is me in Minnesota. See you later.